Hello everyone! It's been a couple months since I made a video about Dolly's factory, and I've had a lot of time to really ruminate on the last update, including the new plushies Jellybell and Triton, and the mini update that's happened just recently. Honestly, I'm really excited to share what I think about the changes and additions to the game this update. So let's get started. Hey guys, gals and pals, my name is Alex, and I'm your professional yapper for today. I just want to remind everyone real quick that there are new codes for this update you can redeem now. They'll be expired next update, so make sure to grab them soon. You can enter Boo for 800 Dolly bucks, and Jellybell is here for 400. Right, now to the first thing that's happened since we left off. On September 5th, the following changes occurred. A new version of Doug's map, a cutscene sequence the first time Coda appears in the run shown through the TV on the train, an in-game return to lobby button, a UI cue for when you're spotted by a reject, and oil spills on the floor that slow you down temporarily. I don't have many notes about this update, other than I still really enjoy the concept of how Doug zones have different variations that appear the further you go. The creativity is awesome too, like, yeah, sure, let's add a train wash. Cool, I'm all here for it. The new map looks great. The only thing I'd say is that it's easy to fall off the boards going over the train and get stuck, but that's it. Great job. I'll touch on the cutscenes later. On September 12th, a surprise update came adding the new Dolly's office map, appearing at zones 10 and up, and on October 10th, the big update came out. This added Triton and Jellybell, two new plushies with a new boss zone and cutscene, plus an alternate map for Coda's boss zone. Before I get into the October 10th update, I really want to quickly talk about Dolly's office. Dolly's office features a big hall with a reception desk that branches off into 4 main spaces, 2 large rooms with cubicles amongst other scattered props, a small system of vents, and a locker room, all dotted with posters and portraits. The thing I find most interesting about this map is the statue of Dolly holding a barrel of pixie dust, pouring it into the fountain below. The symbolism of this, and the way it could confirm to us that pixie dust is the substance pouring out of those unfinished plushie machines, are a thing for another time. But I do want to say that, without a doubt, you can absolutely tell that the people behind this game are getting better with every update. The modeling is top-notch, and the map design feels nice to play, and it just looks good. Again, great job with this one. It shows us another distinct piece of the factory, and I love it. I wonder if there'll be some sort of office worker plushies that filled up these cubicles? Back to the October 10th update. I wanted to quickly list some changes that weren't publicly listed in this update. New sound effects, VFX, and a machine of focus effect, where everything becomes a little darker and desaturated when you go on a machine. Charm changes. Dolly's thread was buffed from 10, 15, 20 to 25, 50, 100, and now effects received heals. This means that a Thim with a fully upgraded Dolly's thread will heal 40 HP, instead of the base 20 HP. Dog tag was buffed from 5, 10, 20 to 10, 15, 20, and now bears the same description as Workaholic. However, Workaholic has been nerfed from 25, 30, 50 to 20, 25, 40. Reject Doug stops for a brief moment after digging out of the ground, though this can probably be lumped in with the Reject AI changes, because when are the Reject AIs not being tweaked? Jokes aside, you'll see a lot of rejects actually sit and rest for a few seconds. I like this change. Good change. And finally, the Fluff Kit has been nerfed from giving 30 HP to 25 HP. Also, I want to point out that they changed the lobby and made it all Halloween themed, with what looks like hand-modeled pumpkins that resemble Reject Dolly and Dolly, among other things. They didn't have to do this, but they did, and it's adorable. The small things I think I really appreciate the most. Editing here, I just realized that, I apparently do focus on small things a lot because I entirely neglected to mention the new Coda map. I did not talk about it at all in my script. It completely slipped my mind, but here it is. I actually think that it looks really good. Again, Breeze, good job. I love it. It's a bit easy to fall into the pit in the middle with the crane, but yeah, sick. Looks super good. Right, now let's get to the good stuff. Jellybell, Triton, their boss zone, and whatever else I missed. I'll start off with Jellybell and Triton's boss zone. In the current version of the game, Jellybell's zone has a 50% chance to spawn on any given increment of 5, the other 50% chance being Coda. This includes Zone 5, which I don't know how to feel given Coda's boss zone is a bit easier for players to grasp as they're experiencing the game for the first time. But without Jellybell spawning on 5, I would be still getting her research. I actually have more to say about that later, but I'll hold on it for now. As for my thoughts on her boss zone, I really enjoyed it. The cutscenes introducing each boss zone are a really nice touch. They're well animated, and the sound design and music are great. If you don't know how Jellybell works, let me explain. Jellybell's map consists of one big center island above water with 4 offshoots connected by ramps upwards. A giant Tesla coil hangs from the ceiling and zaps each smaller coil around the map, turning them teal. Plushies need to run up to each coil after it's zapped and interact with it before it turns red and deactivates. Jellybell roams like normal during this time, But like Coda, she has 2 phases and switches to her second phase once half of the coils are activated, and the water below rises up to cover the floor of the middle island, slowing down any plushies to cross it. During her second phase, Reject Jellybell becomes stationary and unprovocable, and her tentacles emerge from the ground and chase players briefly in bursts, 1 target at a time. Or well, at least they did before October 31st. A few changes were added then, which I'll get into in a moment, but one of those changes was Jellybell's second phase. Instead of her tentacles chasing plushies, they're now dispersed throughout the map stationarily, not dissimilar to Blot's hands. If you run near them, they'll swipe at you and disappear. The first time I played Jellybell's map, I was a bit taken aback at the tentacles following players. But in a good way. It was really different compared to the rest of the game in an exciting way that kept you on your toes. With the combination of that and the rising water that slowed players down, I really was forced to manage my stamina carefully not to get hit. I love it when games force the players to switch up how they go about things briefly to engage more with mechanics they might not think much of normally, like stamina. However, a lot of players didn't like how Reject Jellybell's tentacles were constantly chasing a player at any given time, and found the combination of things to be hard to deal with. I think that the best way to make her zone have a good balance of difficulty is to have her cycle through targeting players and having stationary tentacles. That's probably all I have to say on Jellybell's boss zone, other than the fact I really like Jellybell's design, and Triton's ability to confuse and invert players' controls. The map looks so good as always, and the violin on Jellybell's chase music is chef's kiss. It sounds so good. Elegantly threatening. Fits her very nicely. Now, onto the gameplay of the plushies released in this update. I'll start with Jellybell. The first thing I noticed after I got Jellybell is that she pulls her dress up to run. It's a cute little detail that wasn't necessary, but they did it anyway. It adds a lot of character and I adore it. I was lukewarm about her design when she was first revealed, but she's grown on me and I like the level of detail she has. She doesn't stand out too much and is a great addition to the cast. Playing Jellybell in general is just very fun. Her active ability makes up for her lack of speed, and her efficiency is super nice to have. Plus her healing makes her part of the new meta. She's absolutely stacked as a plush. Her active ability actually highlights one of the most prominent differences Dolly's factory makes in the genre of dandy likes, being able to stun and slow rejects. I never realized how nice that aspect of the game felt when you stun the rejects at just the right time and avoid them, because you usually need items like the stun gun to pull that off, and I've always saved my spots for heals. Adding another way to engage with that part of the game without having to change your playstyle is really cool. This also goes for Triton. Speaking of which, Triton's design is also great. It has just enough without being too much. He looks a little odd against the other plushies because of his small eyes and defined nose, but that's not a big issue for me. I think he works as a character. And having another plush with a prop is cool to see. His ability confused me a bit at first, but after you play him for a while, you get the gist of it. I feel like I wish he could do a little more, like maybe having a second ability, but he's alright. Not my pick, but certainly not a bad option. Back to the October 31st update. A few other things are added and announced that I'm excited to share. Queenie got a new model with her new faceplate drawn to match Jellybell and Triton's, respectively drawn by Redial. Cinnabon's name was corrected in every misspelling, calling her Cinnabon, and new spinning animations for items around the map. The October 31st update also brought a new map, Old Factory. I want to go on record and say that I really adore Old Factory's build. The props, blinking bulbs, skylights, fog, vines, an old-timey version of the Dolly's factory logo, brickwork, and beams that scream, Old Factory! All of the moving parts too, like the lift and the thread spools. There's even an interesting tidbit of lore on the lower level. The only thing I really have to critique about this map is the design from a gameplay approach. The hallways that offshoot the main floor are very cramped. These hallways aren't really much of a problem at lower zones, but when you get up there to the maximum of 8 rejects, things get a lot more complicated. Regardless, I still really like this map because it gives us more insight on the factory, suggesting it's been around for longer than we may have thought. But that's not even close to all for this newest update. On August 18th, there was an official skin contest in the Dolly's Factory Discord server. The winners of that first round of skins have been announced, and one has even been released. Here are the skins that are being added. Plague Doctor for Thim by Yasria, Radiant Ruler for Queenie made by Midnight Stars XXXX, Underground Butterfly for Doug made by Dustpiece_73, Jackrabbit for Cinnabon made by Midnight Stars XXXX again, Lavender Phantom for Coda made by Glub MB, Sweetheart for Jellybell made by Seafoam Sushi, and Photic Constellation for Buddy made by me! I made several skin designs, but out of all of them, this is the best outcome. I'm absolutely over the moon with my skin being added to the game. And my favorite plush! I can't thank the team enough, and I'm really excited to see it in action. Everyone did a great job, and there were so many skins that I saw that could have easily made the cut. I'm not done yet, though. There's one more skin that won the contest that's out right now. Sour Sleeper for Buddy by Midnight_Rockruff XD. This skin is adorably designed and features a special made fixing animation for Buddy. One of the things I love is how faithful the final skin is to the concept art. I feel like they really nailed every detail and brought the artist's vision to life. That brings me to the thing I'm iffy about. The price of it. Well, the price of everything, to be honest. Getting Dolly bucks in research is a bit of a grueling grind as the game stands. The other day I did a solo run to Zone 14. For 40 minutes and 48 machines, I only earned 380 Dolly bucks. At that rate, it takes 3.5 hours to get 2,000 Dolly bucks, if you're doing every single machine. But in reality, it would take longer because every 5 zones the rejects gain speed and attention span, making them harder to avoid. Numbers of machines increase, and the number of rejects do too. This could be fixed by adding alternative ways to gain Dolly bucks, like quests, or simply buffing the amount of Dolly bucks currently gained, or perhaps scaling the amount of Dolly bucks you earn by how high of a zone you go. My Zone 100 run only totaled up to about 1,951 Dolly bucks. After 4.5 hours of continuous play and 175 machines finished, I didn't earn enough Dolly bucks to be able to buy Coda. I hope that helps put things into perspective. Research as well is particularly tough to get. A reason I held out on this video was because I got to about 50% research on Jellybell and Triton, and became slightly fatigued with the game. Because there's no other way than picking up stuffing samples 5 at a time to get research, it can take unreasonably long to get a character. You have to get the reject you need 20 times to fully complete their research, assuming you pick up all of their stuffing samples every single time. That means for plushies like Jellybell, you have to visit 100 zones at the very least, and that's assuming you get Jellybell every time. With the 50% chance to get her at zones multiple of 5, that really puts you at around 200 zones to complete Jellybell's research, which in many cases will take hours upon hours, even with full teams of good players. That's where my main gripe with the game as it stands now is. I think it needs to be easier to get more research and more Dolly bucks faster. That, and I think 1,000 Dolly bucks for a simple skin is stretching it. 500 or 750 would be more suited for a cosmetic like that. Charms too. Seriously, why is Workaholic the same price as Coda? You have 2 options. Anyways, I think that pretty much brings this video to a close. I've been wanting to talk about this set of content for a while, and I honestly think that October 10th's update has been the best in the game's history so far. Thanks for sticking through the whole thing, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!